Okay, what we're going to take a look at today is writing linear equations in slope-intercept form. Now these are very difficult, and it will be helpful to probably follow along in the book while you're watching this video. It's section 8.8, so chapter 8, section 8. Like I said, it's some pretty difficult math, but just follow along and hopefully you get something out of it. Okay, so if you're given the slope and you're given the y-intercept, okay, we've worked already with slope-intercept form here. Okay, so I kind of have it set up. We would substitute the slope in here. Okay, so my 2 would go right here. Okay, and my y-intercept goes out here. So my 4 would go here. So now by giving the slope and the y-intercept, I can substitute them in, and I have it in the form that I need it in. That isn't so bad. Okay, let's take a look at another one, kind of like this. Okay, here it's a little different. The slope is -3/4, so I put it in right here. Okay, -3/4, and the y-intercept is 0. So instead of putting +0 here, we would just leave it like that. Our answer is done. We don't need the +0 here. Okay, as a matter of fact, when you have it written this way and you have to graph it, you know, the y-intercept would be 0 when this isn't here. So I'm going to erase that out of there, you know, and that would be the answer if your slope was -3/4 and your y-intercept was 0. It would be y equals -3/4 x. Okay, let's go back now to take a look at another one. This is where it starts to get a little bit more difficult. Now we have a coordinate grid, and we have to find the slope and the y-intercept from this and substitute it into the linear equation. Okay, so first of all, let's find the y-intercept. That's the easiest to find. Here's y. Okay, so where does it cross y? Well, it crosses it at +2. Okay, so that I can substitute in. All right, so that part I have. Now I have to find the slope, and the slope is going to go here. Now, back in chapter 8, section 7, we worked with you know, taking a coordinate grid like this and finding the slope. Now we have to in this case here, we're going to be kind of working backwards. We're going to start with the y-intercept, and where do we got to go from here? Well, we got to go down 2. Okay, so that would be the change in y would be -2. And we have to go to the left 2. Okay, so that would also be -2. So -2 divided by -2 is +1. So it would be like 1x. Now, do we need the 1 there? No. Okay, 1x and x are the same thing. So we could just leave this as x. So if I erase this out of here, okay, there would be my linear equation for this line which is graphed. Okay, hopefully that's understandable how we did that. Started with 2 here, remember, went down 2, that's where the -2 comes in, and went to the left 2, and that's where the -2 comes in there. So -2 divided by -2 is 1, and that's where x is. Okay, now we're going to get into something even a little bit more difficult. Okay, it says equations from given points. Okay, if we have to write a linear equation from 2 given points here. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do is we're going to find what our slope is going to be here. Okay, so we've done that before by taking this and putting negative. Well, I have to get my pen back here. Okay, by you know, this is x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, and when we did this, we took these and we moved them down. So I'm going to move them down here because this is going to be familiar to the students. Okay, now we subtract here, so 5 minus 8, okay, and 5 minus 8 is -3. And we subtract here -2 minus 4, and -2 minus 4, if we add the opposite here, is -6. Now negative 3 divided by negative 6 reduces to positive 1/2 because it's a negative divided by a negative. So we have the slope now. The slope is positive 1/2. Okay, and that's going to be helpful in finding what we got to find. Okay, so let me go to the next screen here. Let's see, right here. Okay, so I found my slope now. Okay, my slope is this right here, 1/2. I put it in here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this out of here, this M out, and I'm going to put 1/2 in here. Okay, that was the slope. Okay, now to find the y intercept, okay, or to find the rest of this thing, I have to substitute into this equation. This equation is given out of the book, and it's an equation for writing linear equations, and we got to put our numbers in now. Okay, so here again were our coordinates. Remember, x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, so we need the, this y here has nothing to do with it. That's part of the linear equation. Y1 we need. Well, this is y1, 8. So I'm going to put an 8 here. Okay, and I also this x is part of the linear equation, but I need x1, which is right here, 4. Okay, so there's what I have. Now I can rewrite this whole work. So I got 1/2. Here I have x minus 4. I'm just bringing this stuff down. Okay, here I have y. Okay, I've got my equal sign. Now, we're solving this just like an equation, but it's not a very easy one to solve. We've worked with two-step equations and so on, but this is certainly a challenging one. Okay, so my first step here is to get rid of the set of parentheses. So 1/2 times x is 1/2 x. Okay, minus 1/2 times 4. Okay, 1/2 times 4 is going to be 2. Okay, so I'm going to get a positive 2 here. So it's 1/2 x minus 2. I'm just bringing my subtraction down. If you wanted to add the opposite at this point, you could. I'll go ahead and do that, add the opposite here, so it makes that a negative 2. That will make this next step a little bit easier to maybe understand. Okay, so now I'm at a point where I almost have this in the y-intercept form. So now I want to get y equals, so I want to get rid of this minus 8. Okay, so I'm going to add 8. Okay, or if you add the opposite here, it's plus negative 8, so a negative 8 plus 8 is nothing. It cancels out, 0. Okay, got to do the same thing over here, is add 8. Remember, whatever you do to one side, you got to go do the same thing to the other side. Now let's crunch these numbers a little. These cancel because it's a negative 8 and a positive 8. So I have y equals, okay, and that's our y-intercept form we're getting to now, 1/2 x. Okay, in this case here, I have a negative 2 plus 8, which is positive 6, so plus 6. So there, finally, I have it in the slope-intercept form. My slope is 1/2, my y-intercept is 6, and remember that came from these two sets of coordinates. So very challenging. Hopefully that's helpful. The more of these you do, the better you'll get at it, but it is not an easy concept.